Happy Sunday, Tampa Bay. We're here with you for another week to talk about the local real estate market here in Tampa Bay, like we are every Sunday here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show. Got a couple of guests with us this week. We have Chris Boss from the law firm Boss, Origi and Hogue, and Kim Mirabella, Verizon marketing manager of 15 years, South Tampa native, on to talk to us today about one of my favorite services for homeowners and what I think is a vital component of having a happy home with Verizon and the FIOS service. And as always, we're always here to answer your questions live. You can call us in Hillsborough at 990-9352, Pinellas 461-9352, and toll free 1-800-969-9352. When we aren't on air, you can check us out on our Facebook or YouTube channel by searching for The Duncan Duo Show. Get our call-in numbers. If you have a question about buying a home, selling a home, real estate law, foreclosures, short sales, and certainly we're going to talk to FIOS today, and if you've got questions for Kim, you can call us. Again, our call-in numbers in Hillsborough, 990-9352, and in Pinellas, 461-9352. And Kim, I wanted to start off, we've been talking to Verizon about coming on the show for a while, and really excited to have you on, and I think my personal experience with FIOS, with our clients and with our own business, has been so great that I think it's integral for consumers to kind of know the difference. When they're buying a home today, the technology is such a crucial part of their environment, why they buy a home. And I wanted to start off just kind of understanding the differentiations. Why is FIOS better than a competitor's high-speed internet and TV? What is the difference maker for Verizon FIOS?
Right, Andrew. Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure. And just to answer your question, really, it's the technology and really bringing fiber optics into the home versus, say, just to the curb. We're all the way into the home with fiber optic technology, which allows us to stream the fastest internet and the best high-definition TV that you can get. So really, it's product superiority from a technology perspective.
And, I see a lot of new innovations, and when we get clients, and especially, clients looking to buy new homes, and I mean, they target areas where they want to make sure they can get FIOS. They've had competitors, cable or TV internet service, and not been happy, and they've heard about the speed of Verizon. So we'll get clients that will call and say, hey, can you make sure that this house has FIOS? And there's no little button in MLS to allow us to search for that, unfortunately, not yet. But, we've got to sometimes do some research, and a lot of the builders are out there partnering with you guys ahead of time to make sure that everything's packaged and ready to go, which as the market kind of improves, you expect that to continue. What are maybe some new innovations that Verizon's planning on coupling with FIOS over the next, couple of years to improve the consumer experience?
Right. Well, right now we have what's called the smart home or home monitoring control. Basically, fiber optics into the home, being able to provide that smart home, from security to just all the innovation, being able to turn your lights off and on, your doors open and close with a remote control. I mean, essentially, it's the smart home of the future. You can rely on Verizon to be able to provide the home of the future. We're not just provisioning our services for today, but we're looking ahead. And it's all about experience, all about those devices in your home and being able to get the best experience out of those iPads and iPhones as such.
And we work with a lot of consumers that sell their home, and recently we've come across more of them that have the FIOS smart home. And it's so cool because, we don't need to do a lockbox. We don't need to worry about the security. They can remote unlock the house from their phone. They can track how long the person's in the house. I mean, there's so many different things out there from a security standpoint, especially for homeowners that sell their home, because that's always a concern they have is, oh, there's a lockbox on my door, there's going to be people coming and going. But the home monitoring, is just another aspect of it. And so we had this house on the market, it's under contract. It went under contract in like 4 days in Temple Terrace. And it was one where the owner doesn't live here, but they have the smart home set up. So we, all the locks and everything, they can control everything in the house. They can turn on the AC. They can, they even have it set up where they can turn on a switch that turns on the radio that plays music when someone shows up. I mean, if you're talking about staging a home for the best possible, showing position, it's as easy as it gets. So the smart home is definitely something that's neat. I see a lot of builders that are focusing on offering that up front too, and builders have to learn about it. They really have to know that technology because it's what the consumer wants.
Absolutely, and we're focusing a lot this year in education because we think we have so much to offer as a company to the consumer and also the business community. Once people really understand what FIOS can do for them, I mean, they get it. And a lot of folks really don't know the differences between FIOS and traditional cable services. Once you can explain what it does for them and how it enhances your overall experience in the home, but also for kids, just think of all the different applications and everything, all the devices that children are using in the home and for learning, and also from business owners that operate out of their home, being able to get those maximum internet speeds is really key.
Well, and then all the devices too, because even if the speed isn't there, if you've got a lot of devices hooked in, you know, it can bog it down, and you guys are set up really to handle that dedicated kind of line. And I think that's, you know, one of those things that makes fiber different than cable. Like we talked about, it's really more of a dedicated to you versus sharing with a lot of your neighbors, you know, sharing that bandwidth.
That dedicated fiber coming into the home is so crucial. Right now, folks average about 7 internet-connected devices in the home, and that's going to grow to about 11 devices in the year 2016. So it's just going to get, you know, more exponential in terms of the devices on the network.
Right. Well, now, I mean, you've got, you know, the iPads, the iPhones, the droids, all the you know, all the mobile apps and everything you've got going on. But now you're starting to see refrigerators with internet connections, and microwaves, and smart TVs, and I mean, it just kind of evolves where 11 at some point is probably going to be 30. We're probably all going to walk around with chips. You know, we're going to have little glasses on where we can, you know, watch the internet.
Well, it's funny, 7's the average, but we've talked to people that have up to 30 devices in their home right now. But you know, the good news is you know, in qualifying areas, we can go all the way up to 300 meg in the home, which is incredible here in Florida. You
know, I joke. I have a brother who I think is like a gadget junkie. I remember growing up, we'd get into the car, and he would have, like, I thought I was taking off on like an airplane. And he's one of those people that he probably has 20 different things going on at once, you know. So it's just kind of interesting. So are there areas of Tampa that maybe don't yet have FIOS that you know, our listeners might be out there wondering, hey, you know, I want FIOS, you know, but I don't have it in my area yet. Do you guys have kind of any information about some areas that you're focusing on building up the FIOS backbone in?
You know, at this point, the best thing to do is just don't assume that we can't provide you FIOS. Give us a call at 1-800-VERIZON. We'll take a look at your address to see if you do qualify. At this point, there is no additional expansion plan. But again, we want to leverage what we have, and you may be close or you may qualify, so just give us a call. Well,
and that was my experience. We opened our RE/MAX office in November of 11, and we started with another internet provider, and it was not a great experience. And we went to the Verizon website, and it said, you know, we didn't qualify, and so we signed up with another provider, and you know, had dropped signals, low bandwidth. In the afternoon, all the kids would come home, and the speed would just slow to a still halt. And it was just a really tough scenario because we were promised this speed that just wasn't there. And they had every excuse in the book that it was this or it was that. It was our network, it was our router, it was our modem, it was, you know, everything you can imagine. Finally, we have an IT guy come in, and he says, no, it's your provider, and that's pretty much it. So we found out that our neighbor had FIOS, but our address cut off and didn't have it. So made a couple of phone calls, and sure enough, we were able to get the service. And since then, a few months ago, it's just been blazing. It's a whole different experience for us, and you know, we've definitely been happy with that. So, and I think again, like you talked about, you can't promise that to anyone, but make the call. You never know.
Definitely.
If your neighbor has it, if it's close, you know, you may be able to pay a fee or something to get it run if it, you know, impacts your business. And I think that's the key difference for us that we found was not sharing that bandwidth. In other words, you know, I remember the very first day we started up with Verizon in the office, about 2 o'clock, which is when it normally would, you know, 2 to 3 o'clock. I think the kids come home, they start downloading movies and texting, and you know, we would see a slowdown. That very first day, it's like 2 o'clock. My staff is waiting for it to slow down, and it didn't.
Exactly. That dedicated connection is just so key. And the fact that we're bringing the fiber right into the home is really the differentiator. You're not having to use that coax cable connection, which is really older technology. So, you know, fiber optics into the home really just creates that dedicated connection so that you don't get any blips. You just really have that smooth download and streaming. I mean, when you think about video these days, all the YouTube that people are watching, just video is really kind of taking over as one of those really cool things that folks are using these days. And just from an experience perspective, being able not to have that buffering and being able to have that streaming in seconds, you know, versus minutes or hours.
Yeah, I think you guys also just did a new promotion where you bumped up the speed pretty dramatically for only like $10. It's like a $10 bonus. We got that in an email, and I was like immediately, yes, that's a no-brainer for the, you know, increase in the speed.
Absolutely, our new quantum speeds, which is what we're calling them.
And, you know, one other thing I wanted to talk about, and if you have questions about this, feel free to give us a call. We're going to continue our conversation about real estate. We're going to talk to Chris Boss from Boss, Origi & Hogan, answer your questions. 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas, toll free 1-800 969-9352. One other thing that I wanted to mention was you guys' app. The app, the FIOS app, which is pretty awesome. And again, the other providers don't have something that compares to this, but you can be in your home and stream your cable television to pretty much any app. So I like it because, my wife likes to go to bed at like 8 o'clock, and I like to go to bed at like 2 in the morning. So she always wants me in the bed,
Right.
But I can stay up and watch TV with my headphones and still keep, the missus happy. And it's, something that really you can take the iPad pretty much anywhere in the house and watch TV.
Absolutely. The My FIOS app is pretty incredible. It's really an integration between wireless technology and the FIOS technology. Whether it's from an iPad or a mini iPad or a smartphone, you can download the app and be able to take your content with you wherever you go. Also, you can use your smartphone as a FIOS remote. You can download video, you can download shows, you can watch TV from your iPad. All of those things are really just the way of the future, which I talked about earlier, is we're really provisioning ourselves for the future.
And I think, again, the key to having you on the show is understanding the consumer's perspective that says that they will pay more money for a house with fiber. I think we said $5,000
Yes,
is when you look at it.
Absolutely. The fiber optics really adds about a $5,000 value to the home. And folks are really looking for that. When they're buying a home, to your earlier point, they want to have fiber optics in the home for the smart home of the future.
I think and one other thing I'll mention before our break, the agent rewards program is something that we are a part of. And, we have a lot of realtors that listen to the show because it's a real estate show. So it's a good, good piece for you guys to, out there listening. AgentRewardsProgram.com is the website.
Yes.
And it's, if you are a real estate professional and you have a client sign up for Verizon FIOS, you get a little bonus, and so does the client too. So it's a nice cooperative benefit between Verizon and realtors.
Absolutely. And it's a referral service, so we're not asking any of the agents or brokers to do the selling for us, but essentially let us know. If there's a customer that you have, a potential home buyer that's interested in FIOS, let us know, and if that materializes into a sale, we'll reward you for it.
And you guys can have, you guys can go to AgentRewardsProgram.com, sign up, get material.